Bali in the time of coronavirus. I've got a COVID-19 update about Bali and Indonesia. I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and I think it's finally time. Got a little bit of clarity maybe on the next few months. This is Tom from Wage Freedom and WorkingFunnel.com. It's been an interesting year. 2020 hasn't. I got my pandemic hair going, right? Standards have fallen by the wayside in some ways, maybe. At least for me. How about you? So I'll break this video into three parts. One is what's happened between February and now the end of August 2020, what the situation is right now, what I see and what I hear from my extended network here on the island, and then my own opinions as to where we might be going from here, but also a plan of attack for you if you've been thinking about coming to Bali maybe for longer than just a quick break. Coming out of this is going to be probably the best time in almost 20 years to come rent a place by the month or even by the year. And I'll give you my opinion as to how, just a plan of action on how I approach that if that's been something you've been thinking about for a while. I'll also, by the way, let you know the best place I found online, in my opinion, to get coronavirus information about Bali and Indonesia more broadly for daily updates, and I check it every single day. So, but let me just start. So we were doing quite well February, March, and it was early April when they basically stopped with the visas on arrival and also the social visas, which is what you would have gotten if you came, for a shorter visit. And once you stopped those, there weren't thousands of people coming anymore. If you'd been here as a foreigner on one of those visas at the time, they worked out a way where you could stay, which was great. But they realized you're going to have to really de-emphasize the tourism. So for about 3 months, very, very slow. There was no going onto the beach on the sand for a solid 3 months. I think some guys up in Canggu might have been sneaking out to have a surf in the morning, but it was early July that they decided to open the beaches back up again, which I think for a lot of people it was psychologically, it was a big, big help just to be able to get outside and take that walk or whatever, just to air it out a little bit. You still needed a mask. You still need a mask. I have mine right here. But so July, by the end of July, right at the very end, they actually reopened to Indonesian tourists, domestic tourism. And so I think in August I have seen more people, whether it's on the beach or even at our complex here. We had a good friend from Jakarta. They came for the weekend type thing, right? So that has opened up just a little. I don't think it's about making profits now. It's just about staying solvent, right, and not laying off all your staff. But if you can avoid it. Then what happened was in August we were hearing that September 11th was going to be the reopening for international tourism. It was not set in stone, but that was the date that they were going to shoot for. I've got acquaintances, and they were definitely hoping this was going to happen, obviously. Probably a week ago we heard that's not on the table anymore, September 11th, that it's going to be towards basically the end of 2020 or early 2021. I guess the good news is it's only 4 months away now, but I was just talking to a friend of mine with a small restaurant right on the beach here, and not surprisingly, he was, it was difficult. So this is crushing, and it's a sad situation. A lot of folks it should be obvious, but I'll just state it that if you were here working in hotels or restaurants or any kind of essentially tourist support, there's a good chance if you're Balinese, you went back to your village, and if you're Indonesian, maybe you went back to your kampung, your village in Java or Sumatra or wherever, right? Because and the folks that I normally see on the street and stuff, I really don't see them. As to the situation right now, as you might expect, since they're still not doing tourist visas, the areas like Kuta, Legian, even into Seminyak that are mostly tourists are still extremely slow. It's like Niepi, it's a ghost town out there right now, really around me. But up in Canggu and Barawa and points north, where there were and are a lot more expats, and also folks who were sort of more or less stranded, or made the decision to stay, foreigners, things are they're not normal, but there are people on the road, and there are people in restaurants and stuff like that. So depending on where you are right now in the sort of tourist areas or where foreigners sort of congregate, it could be rather busy or still not busy at all. Moving forward, so if we're looking at hopefully the end of this year, early 2021, have you been thinking that maybe you'd like to give Bali a shot at, becoming a Bali expat for 6 months or something? And I suppose maybe I sound a bit like a tourist brochure, but what I would say though, it's clear that this is going to be probably the best time in almost 20 years. We had a tragedy in 2002, and it took a couple of years to get going again. I don't know if we're going to have sort of an immediate upswing in tourism coming out of this coronavirus period, but regardless, the supply of whether it's super nice villas or cheap apartments, whatever you were thinking you were going to look for, you're going to be able to get incredible deals. And I'm not suggesting you come and you take advantage of anybody or anything else. I'm just saying that because of the supply and demand situations can be completely out of whack. If you have been thinking about it, you'll be able to find an amazing deal. Just an anecdote, this is just yesterday, a good friend of mine has rented, and he's a long-term expat, but he rents by the year up in Canggu. It's still 3-4 months away from his yearly lease being up. His landlord already got with him and said, look, what's your plan? What do you want to do? And he offered him basically 1/3 off, if he wanted to continue to stay. So, that it just goes to show you. My plan of attack, if I didn't really know the island yet, maybe you've been here as a tourist, but it's a different ball game if you're looking for a longer term, accommodations and everything, right? Get on Facebook, Canggu community, Ubud community, if the beach isn't that important to you. I think there's Seminyak and Sanur community as well. Facebook groups that sort of cater to expats, tens of thousands of members and extremely active groups. So for real prices, get on these groups and see what's available, whether it's renting a room in a big villa with other people or renting that big beautiful villa on your own. You get a sense of what reality is. Don't just go to these aggregator sites with apartments and villas and call an agent from California or Sydney and try to make a deal, and don't send anybody any money before you come. What I would say is I would just bypass agents, and I'll be people will hate me for saying that, but just go ahead and go the landlords and the property managers themselves, or the owners are actually involved in these groups and putting out what they have on offer right in these groups, and you can deal directly with them before you ever come. Not to reserve before you come, but just an idea of what's possible once you do get here. Because again, I can't emphasize this enough. You don't want to promise anybody anything before you get here if you're looking for longer term accommodations. Take your time, to rent that bike, or even hire somebody to just drive you around, and talk to people at restaurants and stuff, because it's just going to be, folks will be looking for you to rent their properties, just a very right time. That's all. So the best place that I found, by the way, for information on coronavirus, and it's updated daily, it's another Facebook group, the COVID-19 Facebook group, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Jackie Pomeroy, she's just excellent, extremely thorough, no gossip or opinions, it's just facts. Between that and these community sites on Facebook, you'll be looking good if you want to come for a while. So I'll be doing more updates as we come out of this thing. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't think anybody does, but things I think are slowly sort of getting a little clearer as the months go on. So if you'd like updates on the coronavirus situation in Bali, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you want to give me a like, it's certainly much appreciated. So if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I read them all and I answer them all myself, and I'm happy to do that. And again, this is Tom from Wage Freedom and WorkingFunnel.com. Thanks very, very much for watching. Let's make it through 2020, and let's hope that 2021 is just way, way better. I have a feeling that it's going to be. Okay? Take care there and be well.